because we conceptualize mathematics as so culturalist and almost socialist, it's a pretty unattractive option. So if we had had a different sort of upbringing in math and saw it as a social endeavor where we give explanations and people critique our explanations, and it's about sort of coming together socially to sort of find the best mathematical explanation, I think it would have a very different social character in our society. So in that case, I think it would have been much more kind of attractive than the sort of mathematics I was presented in my K-12 schooling, which I think is pretty typical of most people's experience. So I was actually a physics major, and I felt similarly. It seemed a little more interesting because it wasn't just sort of symbolic, so you were dealing with some issue around sort of the Earth or the properties of the Earth. So that seemed a little more interesting to me, but I think the sort of same, they have the sort of notion of the hard sciences, which usually implicates biology and something that has a little more broad participation, particularly of women and people of color, as a soft science, as if it's easier or something. But I think it's a particular characterization of the physical sciences like physics and chemistry that we don't see it as a social endeavor. We see it as sort of isolated, kind of individualistic, kind of intellectual endeavor, which isn't, if you look at particle physics and whatnot, it's usually multiple labs coming together to sort of design experiments and interpret results, rather than this very isolated, you can't even do it as an individual. So there's definitely some things in those fields that don't necessarily map to kind of our social perceptions of it.